Well, hello, good morning, happy Tuesday, and welcome back to another episode of Three Crones in the Woo Woo. I am one of three of your hosts, Gail Nicholson. I'm a resilience coach. I do dabble a little bit in tarot and intuitive counseling, and yeah, that's fun for me. And to my side, I have Krista Ducharme, intuitive healer and amazing all-around sparkly firework over at Dimensional Healing. And of course, we have Damaris Samolinsky over this way.
Hello.
The camera's opposite. Intuitive healer and owner over at Ask the Genie with Damaris. Ladies, how are you this day?
I am exhausted.
Oh, you've been traveling, right, Krista?
Yes, among other things, but yes, I am. I was like, at first I was like, I'm not gonna, I'll lie and I'll say I'm awesome, but honestly, I'm exhausted.
Well, you've been over there country hopping, you know.
I have been, and funny enough, right before we came on, Kevin was planning another country hop. So
nice.
Yeah, we don't go for long. We're allowed 48 hours at a time, and then we have to come back.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So what determines that? Is that a military designation or is that a COVID designation? What's COVID is COVID. Like saying you get a 48-hour pass.
Yeah, and it may have changed, and we just haven't updated our knowledge, to be frank, because a bunch of stuff did change as of Sunday, I think it was, and so we just haven't taken the time to necessarily update all that information in our brains. You know, gotcha. That too is a data process, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, yeah. And sometimes I one of the things that I like is 48 hours is like just enough. Because I'm finding right now going into some places, and yes, you guys have seen some videos of us, you know, who follow us and follow me. And our friends with Kevin and I, you'll see videos, and there are people around, but yet, you know, see, we're kind of out away from everyone. As a matter of fact, the other day when we were in Germany, all of a sudden I found myself surrounded by people, and I had this, Kevin's like, you had this look of terror on your face because I'm like, I'm surrounded by people. I shouldn't be surrounded by people. They're way too close. Do they not understand personal space and social distancing?
I never thought, though, that we would be like this, right?
Yeah, right. Well, I want to get into and talk about that a little bit more because I had a very similar situation this past weekend too. But first, I want to say hello to everybody who is watching us. Thanks for stopping by. Make a comment. Let us know that you're here. Yes. So this past weekend, we got together with a friend at a local bar, you know, just for some drinks, right? And, you know, Bill and I go there for happy hour, like no big deal, right? But this particular place that night was just happened like it was pre-pandemic. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But I sat there going, this is too much. This is way too much overload. I want to get the hell out of here right now. And it wasn't anything off the charts from before, but it seems like we've all been conditioned.
Yes.
And the tolerance for public interaction is so low. Have you been experiencing that too, Damaris?
I have. A couple of weeks ago was my daughter's birthday on June 16th, and we took her out for dinner. And the same thing, that same day, they took, like, you know, you can take off your mask. They lifted that restriction here in New York, and everybody in the restaurant wasn't wearing a mask. Everybody. And it was a lot of people in there. So I was like, you know, I don't know. I felt weird. And it's just like, how did we get used to wearing a mask? You know, we never did before. So now we're so conditioned. Like when when we see people without it, you know, in like big groups, we're like, nobody's wearing a mask. So, so in a year we got conditioned. So it's like crazy for me because we were never conditioned before.
But truthfully, it only takes a very short period of time to condition rats in a cage. And that's essentially, we're smart rats.
I like that you're putting it that way, because I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. But another way also to look at it is that it only takes 21 days to form a new habit.
Yeah.
So let's think of it also in terms of that way as well, because that's all it became, was a new habit. And for me, I can say that, yes, prior to COVID and prior to the restrictions, because people's energy was so it was prickly.
Yeah.
Well, we'll say prickly. Prickly is nice. We'll use prickly. I like that word. You know, so so you would, for me, I was, even prior to COVID, kind of distancing myself from people because frankly, I don't need to feel your prickly pear energy, you know?
I'm glad you said energy.
Yourself.
No, I agree with that also, you know, because when we're working on ourselves and we're healers, we become very sensitive. So we absorb everybody's energy. So I agree with that as well. But my whole point was like, we got so conditioned in you know, so fast.
Yeah.
You know,
and I
it's a little bit sad
agree.
for me too at the same time.
Right. Yeah. You know, I can identify with what Damaris is saying or relate to it or whatever. I see inside of that, because it's like, we don't realize how easily we can be conditioned even into things that we don't want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just happens. It doesn't take a conscious choice at all. At all. And that's scary.
And the other side to that, I'm sorry, is that when you're not at the beginning of these masks, right? When you're not, if you weren't wearing yours, the other people would get offended. So, you know, it became where you had no choice other than to get into a fight with somebody, a physical altercation. You know what I mean? So it was like, oh my gosh, you got to respect other people, you know?
Right. But here's the thing. What's scary about it is, where else in our lives have we been conditioned into something that we don't want?
Yes.
At all.
I could.
And then feel like, oh, but I can't get my way out of this. Why not? You found your way into it without even looking.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Whether on purpose or whether by accident, whether, you know, consciously or whether blindly.
Yes.
We have all had that experience. And the really interesting aspect is, prior to everything COVID, in many respects, we were, as a global oneness, we'll say, we were experiencing those kinds of things anyway, because the energy was churning and the energy was shifting and changing. So you have those of us who are high vibrators, right? Let's vibrate responsibly, people.
Oh, the images that you put in my head, girl. I'm sorry.
Oh, let me tell you. Well, you know, you can toss those images up and share your favorites. It's all
really good. A dildo with a joint. That's high vibrators.
Yes, I gotcha. All right, that isn't what I'm talking about. However, you know, if it makes you feel better, go for it. So. But what I'm talking about is thinking about these people. The energy. It was at conflict. The yin and yang energies were just constantly at battle with each other. I think of the old Native American tale that, you know, we each have a white wolf, we'll say a white wolf and a dark wolf, and they're constantly at battle with one another, right? And which, depending upon which one we feed, depends upon which one wins. Well, and that's just the way the energy was prior to COVID. And we saw that going in, hello. And it was global. It wasn't just in one area or another. I'm not pointing fingers. But it was very global. It has been very global. But, it's like almost the pandemic gave us something else as a globe to focus on, if you will, and in reminding us that this is we, not me, where we were so stuck with me that we had to have something really massive happen. And thankfully it was, there is no thankful. Let's,
but thankful we came together because of this damn pandemic.
But well, that is, we are thankful. But no, the pandemic, actually, there are other things that could have happened. We could have had another world war.
Yes.
And and somebody who's been going on my travels to World War battlefields, let me tell you, I'm in no hurry. But
it's a great point, Krista, because I think human nature, right? Human nature requires an enemy, an other. Right? And when definitely. And I'm going to pull America out because it's where I've lived the most, right? America is a younger country. Developmentally speaking, we're early
adolescents.
Teens,
that obnoxious stage.
And if we don't have an other to bully, to tear apart, to define ourselves by who we're not, we start imploding and fighting with ourselves, right? So I totally agree with you. We needed something that is not us to focus our hatred and rage and otherness on. To save us from ourselves, because we have been imploding for the last 4, 5, 6 years. Minimum. And the really sad thing is that I really, for me, the word hate is something that I hate, loathe, detest, despise, really avoid using at all costs. It is just such a low vibration word. And so for me, when you can see it and you can hear it and people speak, you can see it and you can hear it in their body language, and you can see it and you can feel it in everything that they're exuding out. And the hard part that I always found baffling is 9 times out of 10, they didn't even know why. It wasn't like, I am mad and I am upset because, Timmy came and took my favorite crayon. And no, it wasn't something. It just was a perpetuation of, I think of road rage. You know how we've all experienced it. If you've driven any distance, you've experienced road rage, whether you've had it yourself and you're like, where the hell did that just come from? Or whether you've watched it. I've watched a calm driver in traffic. You're sitting there and this person, they're calm, everything. And then all of a sudden it's like this cartoon, steam coming out of their ears, their nose, their heads popping off. And you're like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? But yet you're looking around and you're kind of starting to see that energy trickle out into everyone. And that's just, for me, that's
very.
My biggest pet peeve with road rage, and don't get me wrong, I've been there. I have resulted in a, how do we want to put this? A toe-to-toe with an international police officer because of road rage. But the thing that gets me, it used to get me all the time driving with my ex-husband, was me and the kids are in the car. That person you're raging at can't hear you, doesn't care what you think anyway. But we're now stuck with this energy in the car for however long until you decide to let it go. And then I decide whether I'm going to let it go then or not, because I'm holding it over here. You know what I'm saying? And it's just,
oh yeah, it is. It's so true.
And it could be dangerous too.
It is. But and that's just the trickle effect that we were in, and we were seeing. It was like a tumbleweed.
But did it end really?
That grew and grew and grew.
Has it ended really?
I think the energy has shifted for a lot of people. Do I think it's ended completely?
No.
I think that there are going to be people that have that bubbling, whatever they want to call it, however they want to refer to it, and it's always going to be underlying in within them. So it just, we as a collective need to make the choice every day. You have a choice. Right. I always love to, and I just was having this conversation with my oldest son. Hi, Zach. It's like, look, you have a choice. You can slog out the day, and you can slog out whatever it is you're doing and make it miserable, or you have the choice where you can say, you know what, what can I create today that is better than what I created for myself yesterday? And and just because we're in control of only one person, and that's ourselves. Right. I know we seem to have this disbelief that we're in control of a lot of things. Sorry, hate to break it to you. That's the reality.
We're all just big old buckets full of water, walking around, sloshing our shit all over people. And, just a few errant drops from somebody else's bucket, and there goes ours again. It's
a reaction, right? So it's the way we react to things, right? That will either bring us to heaven or hell, so to speak.
Yep. Yeah. And guess what? Both of them exist on the plane that you're in.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And only you are the one that can create which one you want.
That's right.
Right.
So
That's
there you have it. Okay. Boom. All right.
Alrighty. Well, let's kind of slide into our little segments. But before we do that, I want to give Damaris a chance to say how she's been doing this week, because we just ran off running with it.
We just ran off.
I've been doing good. I was doing some stuff outside, and I pulled a muscle, so I've been limping around. So I've been taking it easy. Yeah, I've been taking it easy. So, but I'm doing better today. Doing better. Yeah.
Awesome to hear. Very, very good.
But other than that, I haven't really been doing much. We had our neighbor had fireworks for the 4th of July, so we didn't have to go anywhere. Just sat on the porch and watched everything. So it was nice. Usually we have to drive somewhere. This time we just sat there and watched.
That's really awesome.
For me, because I was dragging myself. Because I pulled a muscle. Yes.
Oh man.
It happens to all of us.
Yes. You know what? I can't complain, really. I really can't.
That's cool.
Thank you, Dan.
Because I didn't realize this until just now, until you mentioned the fireworks. But I get to go to fireworks. You get to go to fireworks. Christy, you didn't get any, did you?
Nope. No fireworks for us.
No, because she's in another country.
I didn't know if maybe they might do something on the bases or something like that.
No, some bases, but not here. And they did have on the base a Freedom Fest. We were in Germany at the time at a hotel, not a hotel, I mean a castle, not a hotel, but an actual castle. And we went and saw castles this past weekend down in Germany. One is the oldest castle on record, which had held witch trials in the 1700s.
Wow.
Ooh. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it was. They had a couple, and we weren't allowed to take photos, or else I would have been very busy taking them. They had a couple of devices there to hold witches. Mm-hmm. Yes, they were metal bands that would go around the neck, the arms,
That's
and the waist.
terrible.
It was absolutely. I saw that, and I went from being in awe and great and looking at everything, and Kevin just watched my whole demeanor shift.
Yeah, we might have been burnt at the stake in that era.
I just was like, because for me, I was just like, all of a sudden, it was like I went rigid.
Yeah.
And then they had this mask that they'd put over your face, and all of it was made out of iron, which they so helpfully warmed up for you.
Oh my.
Look at what Tracy wrote. Oh, that's so funny.
Totally not feeling bad
Yes.
that Chrissy missed. Yeah.
She was having fun out in the castles.
Yeah, no, I was having fun at castles. You have a tendency when you live overseas. I find that it's not that we forget our national holidays. We just kind of will, celebrate them in our own way. Like yesterday, we did our 4th of July with some of our neighbors. But you just kind of do it in a little bit different way.
Yeah.
And then you just enjoy your host nations. They're big things. So like right now, the big thing here in Europe is soccer. It is the World Cup. Well, the European Cup, World Cup. I don't know. All I know is that we have soccer games on. I mean, they are like awesome.
Very cool. Very cool.
So I know.
All right.
All right.
Excuse me. So Damaris, you ready for your bit?
I am.
All righty. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Awesome. July 4th to July 10th.
Awesome. So I want to talk about the vibration first of the numbers, the number 9. So the 9 vibration today, very humanitarian number, is the number of endings to prepare ourselves for new beginnings. So it's almost like when we're discarding what we no longer serves us, what we no longer need going forward into the new beginnings. And sometimes that's hard to do. That's hard to discard of things that are not really serving us anymore. Sometimes we become attached to things, but it's almost like you can't bring the baggage into the new vibration of the 1. Also, the number 9 is a humanitarian and the universal teacher. So that vibration is like we have to share the knowledge, the wisdom that we have to give it to other people so that they can utilize that knowledge and wisdom in their lives. I was thinking Gandhi was a number 9 vibration, and look at everything he did in India, right? So that's the vibration, is like helping others, bringing wisdom to others, allowing others to almost like if you want to see a change in the world, you have to start with yourself, right? So that's the vibration of today. And so we all have to take that responsibility, I would say. So that's the 9 vibration. Also, we have 4 planets in retrograde. We've been talking about this throughout the time, but I like to look at the psyche sort of the planets, and I want to talk a little bit about Venus and Mars. They're both in Leo. So what do I see with that? What do I, what energy do I get? So Mars has to do with all physical stuff, right? It's all physicality. Venus has to do with, I would say, with spiritual, because it's all about love. So in Leo, Krista was talking about like our reactions and stuff like that. So if Leo is not in a positive place, right? Leo is it's full of its pride. It's full of, it doesn't like authority. It wants to do whatever it wants to do. It's not bendable or adaptable. It's very fixed. That energy when it's not in a positive state. So if you have both of these planets, Venus and Mars and Leo, and we're not vibrating in a good place in that Leo, yikes, it's going to be a lot of turmoil, I would say, right? But if we're vibrating in a positive, I always say that Venus wins, right? If we're vibrating in the positive, we're going to take that Mars action and bring love into every place we go into. We have to vibrate at the love vibration. If we continue to vibrate at the negative of, let's say, Mars, we're going to create a lot of wars. I was doing research not too long ago, and in 239 years, we have been at war, the United States, for 220 years. That means it's only been about 19 years we haven't been at war, at some sort of war. That's crazy. Wow. That's crazy. We need to change that vibration. We need to vibrate at love. When I look at Venus, I also think of Jesus Christ, whoever believes in him or not, but I believe in him. And I believe, when he came to show us love. He came to show us the way. That's that Venus vibration, which is the vibration of love. And so he said that we would go on to do better things than he did. And I feel like it's our responsibility to, no matter how people show up to us, we need to show them love. And the more aggressive and negative they are, the more love they're lacking. And we need to show up with that love. And so we have that energy going right now. It is our time to just show up, showing love. And if they're not going to vibrate to that, they're not going to respond that way, that's okay, but you did. We have Saturn retrograding in Aquarius. You got to look at the energy of Aquarius. Aquarius is all about humanitarian work. It's about, fighting for the underdog. It's about being a voice for those that don't have one. Of course, with the Saturn vibration, because Saturn is very restrictive, we may be restricted in the way we want to show up for other people. But we have to follow the rules and regulations of Saturn. Whoever is open, please show up to them. Please show up with love. Show them a different way of being. That's what we're here for, to start vibrating at that love vibration, right? We have Neptune retrograding in Jupiter. In Pisces. Pisces is the Christ consciousness sign. I always talk about that when it's vibrating on a higher vibration, is vibrating in that love vibration. When Neptune is very dreamy, very mystical. Neptune is the way to ascend to the higher vibration of love and to bring it down into a physical manifestation. Obviously, when it's not vibrating right, with the energy of Neptune is not right, it's very dreamy. It's very not in the reality, right? And I know that there's a lot of people that may not be vibrating to the reality of what's happening and what's going on. But the reality is that this is our time to shine. And this is our time to vibrate at the highest levels that we can, even if other people are not, because you have to sort of like meet your maker, and whatever you're doing is what you're going to be sort of like, your behavior is the behavior that you're going to have to face your maker, right? Not other people. So even if they're not vibrating right, you have to. If we all started reacting to everybody's vibration, we're going to descend, I would say. We're going to set ourselves back. No matter what people are doing, we have to show up with love and the highest, for the highest good of all involved. We were talking about we're all in this together. Did this bring us together, or did it divide us in a different way? I think that it did divide us in a different way. Just because of the belief systems. Neptune and Pisces has to do with our belief system. It's time to shift them. Just like that 9 vibration, it's time to let go of what no longer serves. If our vibration, our belief systems are limited, are low, we need to shift. Plain and simple. Otherwise, we're going to be at war. God knows for how long. Like I said before, in 239 years, we've been at war for 220. We have to shift to the higher vibration, to the love vibration. We have to tame that sort of lion that creates wars within ourselves. We have to feed the light, not the darkness. And really, that's what I wanted to kind of talk about today. And so with all of these planets in retrograde, Pluto also in retrograde in Capricorn. What is Capricorn about? Capricorn is about business. It's about structures. It's about, government. It's all about that. So Pluto is a destroyer. What is Pluto destroying that needs to be destroyed? so that we can have a better life. We can have a better tomorrow, not just for us, for our children and their children. So whatever's not working in government needs to be destroyed. And so I'm kind of glad with that retrograde going on, because we really need to live into a new world where we're just not thinking about ourselves. We're thinking about the planet. We're thinking about animals and everything else. Again, that vibration of Venus needs to be at the forefront. And that's my chat for today.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And that makes so much sense. It really does. We're dealing with an awful lot of, here's where that dismantling the stuff that doesn't work, especially in government, kind of hits for me, because we have this filter, if you will, called social media.
Yes.
Right? And it's got an awful lot of people on it sharing their opinions about what's working and what's not working. And depending on what your values are, what'll make you laugh will make you cry.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's really not working, right? Unpopular opinion. You talked about the fact that we've been a country for 240 years. We've been at war 220 of those years. But let's take a step back and remember that our economy was built by someone who was brought up in the slave trade, okay, and discovered how to consolidate credit so that they could expand the industry of going to war. This country was based on profitability from war.
Isn't that disgusting?
Well, that's your opinion, and that I may agree with your opinion, but they're still opinions.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Right.
For other people who feed their family on nuclear, warheads and stuff like that, the value is.
I don't recommend that, by the way.
No, I'm just saying. But if they've got different values, it's working for them. So we got to take a look at actually standing up individually for this works for me or it doesn't, because that's the only way we can get the majority 100th monkey that it's going to take to actually switch into that love mode that I agree with you 100%.
Well,
right?
the reason why I say that, Gail, is because in a war, people die unnecessarily, So I think it's disgusting that this is how money is made. And that's my opinion,
absolutely.
at the stake and at the lives of innocent people. And that's where, it bothers me.
I totally get that. And I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form you should feel any other way. I'm just holding an objective mirror up to that other people value exactly the opposite of that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have people that are in the middle that don't really have an opinion one way or another because they don't necessarily understand one way or another.
Yeah.
And that can be almost as detrimental as being on one side or the other side.
I agree with that.
At least if you stand for something, you have some kind, you have skin in the game if you're standing for something. And, it's a much different. And our country is based, the United States was developed and was created and received its freedom in a wartime situation. There are plenty of other countries that separated from their separated from their mother country,
like Canada.
Canada, but they did it in a peaceful way, or and they did it in a different way. And so,
I know how passionate you are, Gail, and really, I really love that, and you too. But it's just like where does it end? What, like you said, taking accountability and responsibility, each of us, and showing up in love no matter what. If somebody comes aggressive, you still stand up and show up in that love and that compassion, because otherwise then that it's gonna be it's
bubbles over.
It's gonna be a physical problem. You know what I mean? So somebody has to stand up for what's right and
absolutely
showing the way.
And sometimes the most loving answer is no.
Yes.
No, this is the line. You're not crossing this. No,
And
you're done.
I spoke about
and no is an actual answer. And not only is it an actual answer that people need to understand, it is not negative. No. Is not negative.
Just because you don't like it, don't make it negative.
That's right.
That's right.
I just want to say this before we give it over to Krista. I spoke about Gandhi, and what did he do? He's in a 9 vibration, just like today. What he stood for. He stood for peace almost to his death. And that's what it takes. What did he say? Be the change you want to see in the world. So it definitely, it's about that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, Miss Krista, are you ready?
I am.
Awesome.
I'm very excited. This is exciting. So before we get started, I am going to do something. I'm going to disclose that Luna is in the room. Do you see how Ganesh is moving? Yes, that's Luna. She has, I don't know what she's going to do. She's a cat. And today has been not a calm day for her. She's been a little bit over the edge. We've had 2 hawks screaming all day. In flying in a triangular pattern around, in particular, our property.
So what is that hawk telling you for you?
Okay, well, we're going to get into that here in just a second. So that's really a good thing. So today is raw morganite, right? Let's talk about the crystal. The hawk's going to come in with the crystal, and so is everything that Damaris just said. Because we had morganite a couple months back now. And this is what it looks like. This is pink. And it is more of a translucent, like rose quartz. It's a beryl, whereas rose quartz is a quartz. And morganite is a really awesome, divine, love energy kind of crystal. And it's really incredible that it is coming up for this week. Actually, for me, on a personal level, it came up because we have all kinds of interesting things happening. And one of the things that morganite does is it reminds us to connect with our compassion. It reminds us to connect with our loves, our greater loves, our higher loves. So as Damaris was talking about, approach things with love and compassion, I was like, this is balls on with morganite, balls on. I'll tell you, guys, seriously, this stuff is for real. It is. It really is. Because how long have we had this list, y'all? Seriously. But morganite also is fantastic because it allows our heart center to align not just with love and not just to be thinking about love, where rose quartz all about love as well. And so this is why I'm trying to differentiate the two. It reminds us to think of a Care Bear, right? And think of the Care Bear in terms of how, when the Care Bear or when they do this big thing and the light comes and it's all billowing out. Well, that's what morganite does with our heart chakra is it allows us to become this Care Bear, and it channels the light, that love right through, and then opens our heart out for compassion.
Love it.
And it opens our heart out to connect and remember about the balance. And for each of us, we define balance in a different way. And now the three of us have talked about a lot of yin and yang, really, which is balance. That's a different word for balance, y'all. Different phraseology.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot about that. And Morganite is about literally making us reconnect to that balance and understand that how important that balance is for us in our lives. Now, you can have raw Morganite, which this is what this is, or you can get it as jewelry and wear it and really allow it to work for you, because not only is it going to help your heart center and your heart chakra just open up and expand, you'll find that it's going to open your lungs up and it's going to allow you to breathe. Because when we start to expanding our heart and when we start approaching things from a compassionate, loving place, we breathe more steadily. We breathe more calmly. When you take a breath, you actually use your entire lung, both of them. So your lungs, right? And that means you exercise them. And that means that you massage your heart. That's the physiology side of it. Okay. We don't have to go down that one. But one of the things that I want to bring in, as I was saying, I woke up this morning and we've had these two hawks. There may be a third one. I didn't see it, but I definitely saw two, but I think I heard the third one. And because they would cry out. And if anybody has ever heard hawks cry out or screech, or however you want to express it, you can start to hear. They have different tones. Each one has a different tone. So you knew that they were communicating. And so for me, because one of the hawks actually came down and was sitting outside my back door on the patio.
Wow.
I mean, right there. I was just like, all righty. It's one thing if you sit on the fence and you're looking down on me. It's another thing if you're on the tree that's looking down upon me. But now you're actually sitting on my patio. So what message is Spirit bringing me? And there are many things that hawks bring, right? But the big one that kept repeatedly coming up for me is that you have to look at the bigger picture, because remember, hawks have a great expansive vision, right? They can see from a great distance. So for them, they are that's farsighted or nearsighted, whichever one it is. Farsighted. Okay. Mm-hmm. So they're farsighted and they can see in the future, which is part of what it was going. And the other aspect that kept just repeating itself, and it isn't just for me, this message is for all of us, is that we need to let go of our nearsightedness, our narrow focus.
I love that.
All of us. We need to stop doing this.
Yeah.
You know how a lot of people have been like, you need to be laser focused, right? Yeah. Let go of that shit. Okay, so this focus needs to go away and we need to expand. We need to expand our vision. We need to expand our vision for ourselves. We need to expand our vision for what it is we want our future to be, which goes back to the fact that you brought up Gandhi and be the change. I'm always, it's actually written downstairs on my whiteboard, be the change you want to see. And it's true. if you want to see the change, you need to embody that first.
Yeah.
You can't be the person. Well, you can. It's not going to work out well for you. But ultimately, you can't be the person that says, do as I say, not as I do.
Okay.
That's hypocritical.
Point of order.
Yes, ma'am. Point of order. Yes.
I have been being the change. I have not been arguing politics on Facebook, and I'm inviting a lot of other people to join me in being this change.
I'm helping.
Yes, you are. You are part of the change. Thank you.
Yes.
But we do. You attract those. So think about it. I'm going to pull a Reaganism here for just a moment. Remember back in the Reagan, I am, aren't I? And it was like war on drugs, right? That was Reagan, not Bush. It was all war on drugs, war on drugs.
Just say no, Nancy.
Yes.
Say no.
Yes, just say no. This is in the eggs. This is your brain. Yeah. This is your brain on drugs.
This is your brain on toast with a side of bacon.
Yeah, there you go. Right. So yes, we're jesting, we're having a good time, and we're, remembering our youth. But
sorry, you guys got to see this comment too. No, not me. No.
There's Tracy calling it spade a spade. But that's all good. So, but when you start putting that focus out where your focus and your intent is a war on whatever it is you want to get rid of, guess what's going to happen?
It's going to expand the war.
It's going to expand, and it's just going to keep coming back, and it's going to keep coming up. So here, I declare a war on love.
Woo-hoo!
I love that. You Venus, you.
I'm straight.
There you go. I'll be Venus.
I declare a war on unity.
I love that.
I like that. Okay, so where are you going to declare a war on?
You just said something that something came. I channeled something.
Yeah. Okay.
Community is communication in unity.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we need to do. We need to communicate that love and unite. And no matter how people are showing up, we show up how we're supposed to show up.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. So that can be our war. And maybe by doing that and using our compassion and our love and,
big stick too. Not a big stick.
Well, as long as it has a heart on the end, right?
Yes. Yes.
See, and you can wave it. But that will help to bring the balance. But seriously, Morganite will help that change. And it does it in a way that it's not going to kick your ass in terms of, it's going to, bring you kick ass, take names kind of thing, but it's going to kick you in the ass to actually to be that, whatever that is, whatever that change is, whatever that unity, whatever that communication, whatever that love is that you're trying to do and you're trying to be. I really believe ultimately, and I am going to be changing my must-have crystals because Morganite, the more and more I've worked with it, the more and more I think it needs to definitely be in a person's, must-have.
It sounds such an amazing. I never knew about Morganite. I really never even heard of it.
Yeah, it is an amazing. So I'm going to leave you guys with one last thought. And I'm going to make a little thing to post in Facebook that we all can share. But think of this as your affirmation with Morganite. And I want you, ladies, let's play. Put your hand over your heart. And here's the Morganite. Right there we go. Okay, focus on the Morganite. And holding your hand over your heart. Divine love enters this world through the gate of my heart.
I love it. I love it.
All right. So there you have it, my friends.
Thank you,
that's me. I'm stepping down off the soapbox.
Thank you.
Very cool. One thing that I do want to add to your Morganite stuff is how I got familiar with Morganite is that all those cheap chintzy jewelers from, like third world countries, that they are pushing Morganite for wedding sets. So I started looking into what Morganite's properties were, and I'm like, why are we not using this all along instead of diamonds?
Oh yeah, well, because De Beers, but
yeah,
we could have a long
propaganda
conversation.
Push, yeah. But
Morganite.
Morganite is a much more stone conducive to happily ever afters. The communication, the compassion, the kindness to your partner. Kind of thing, as opposed to, we're going to etch the law into this and it'll never be erased.
Yeah, no, Morganite, I would recommend, like I said, everybody needs to have a piece, whether you have a piece that you carry in your pocket that you do not throw at people, just as an FYI, or whether
it doesn't
you
have boomerang properties.
It doesn't have boomerang properties. No. However, if you want a boomerang, I know a person. Just saying. But yeah, no, it is. It's a wonderful stone. Morganite, really, I agree with you. I've been reading. The more I read about Morganite, the more I really am in love with it. And I'm not going to dive in too deep, but if you want to add a essential oil, and I've been playing with this. I had a lot of time on my hands today. Really, I was tired. So I was playing with a lot of different things. But geranium. Geranium is what, as a one single. However, I think I have a blend that I'm kind of putting together, and I'll be sharing that. But geranium has the vibration that works hand in hand with Morganite.
Love it.
Yeah. It's really amazing. Yeah, definitely.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Krista.
You're welcome. Gail, what's our word power?
Word power. Our creative commands today are about loving yourself wisely. Go figure. All right. So when I started looking at, what to talk about here, and loving what Krista's talking about as far as the kindness and the compassion and the self-love and care bearing, the energy of Morganite everywhere. And looking into, what does it really mean to love yourself wisely, right? Because there are certain things that we do because we love ourselves. There's certain things that we don't do because we love ourselves, right? And then there's certain things that we do because we love ourselves, but are we really loving ourselves by doing that, right? For example, the person that you love to hang out with and party with, right? When it's time to go celebrate something, right? If you party to excess and spend the rest of the next day in bed trying to keep saltines down, did you love yourself wisely? I don't think so. If you, some of you out there listen or are familiar with access consciousness, and in access consciousness, one of my favorite tools is getting your body involved and, getting your body to help do things or whatever, and asking your body, what do you need? What do you like? What do you want? Right? I used to ask my body, what do you want? And inevitably, my body would answer things along the lines of cheeseburgers with French fries, please. Cheese enchiladas sound really great. Oh, can we stop by Sonic and get a hot fudge sundae? That's what my body wants. My tongue is addicted to chocolate and sugar. but the rest of my body requires something different. So the difference between just loving yourself, giving your body what it says it wants, and loving yourself wisely, asking your body, what do you require, will lead to an entirely different outcome. So this week, I would invite all of you to take a look at the things that you do because you do it because you think you're doing it because you love yourself, right? And take a closer look. Is that giving you what long-term you would benefit from the most? Is it the most self-loving thing? Is it the kindest thing to you? You might say that, you know what, I do my nails, right? Because I love myself. Are you really? Or are you doing your nails because there's something about your hands that you don't find attractive and you want to compete and compare with the people that you put yourself around? Is that truly loving yourself wisely? Right? I'm not saying you have to change it. I'm saying make a conscious choice. Because when we love ourselves based on what our true goals are, what our true values are, what our end results that we picture is, that wisdom will get us there faster. That wisdom will get us there healthier. And that wisdom will help the whole thing just be a happier experience. All right. So I didn't say all that to take the joy out of the little things that you do to love yourself, but just to give you a little bit more oomph in that area of being the Care Bear in the center of your universe.
Love it.
I love it. I love the whole Care Bear center of universe. You know me.
Yeah.
That's great.
Very good.
We totally need to come up with a merch line. I'm seeing a Care Bear with the tummy, like, get out of my way or I'll Care Bear you.
Or vibrate responsibly.
Yes.
We love that.
Like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, we do. Go ahead.
I was going to say with Morganite around it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You Venus goddess, you, Krista.
I need to keep you around me more there, Damaris. I love that. You just keep telling me, girl.
There you go. Now, Tracy's telling us she's got this amazing chain made out of Morganite that she got from Sue at Class Act Imports. And I think I saw a picture of it last week, but it is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I want to take a moment right here and right now and let everybody know that first of all, Sue is not our sponsor in this next month. She's doing some stuff, we're doing some stuff, but we want to give her all the love in our hearts and all the gratitude and appreciation for everything that she has done for us with these last 6 months as our sponsor. And just so happens that Sue won the award this week.
Yay!
How the heck did that happen? I honestly don't know. But yay!
My gosh.
And she's awesome stuff. So Sue, you get to choose, who you want to deliver to you or what you want. So definitely reach out to us. Krista, you got Krista's number, I'm sure. I know you got my number. Damaris is in there on Messenger somewhere. I'm sure you can find her. But reach out to us and let us know which one of us you would like to receive something from and what that may be. We all have our little list of you got this, and this to choose from. So that's
definitely
that's on all there for you to do. All righty, now let me see if I can get rid of this comment.
It's not that we don't love you, Tracy. We just need it to go away.
Not like she hasn't heard that before. Right?
Well, no.
All right. So thank you to our remaining sponsors and contributors. Krista Ducharme with Dimensional Healing. We need music behind this.
Yes.
Daenerys Samolinsky with Ask the Genie.
Yes.
And Gail Nicholson with Creative Command Coaching and Consulting. And generally, thank you from all of us here at Three Crones and the Woo Woo. It's been an enormous pleasure doing the show for you. And we hope that you have an absolutely fabulous week ahead. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.